Hi, this is Kristy at the Clark County Library, and today I'm going to show you a PowerPoint presentation on the road to college and how the library can help get you where you want to be. And this will go over some e-resources that are available free with your library card, and also just some ideas about how you can start that college application process. One of the biggest questions that I am often asked is, what if I have no idea what I want to do? And a lot of times these are freshmen and sophomores that don't really have an idea of college or even trade school or anything. And so my first stop for them is always to our BrainFuse e-parachute. You can find this by going to our homework help tab on our website and click on BrainFuse, and then right under there where it says study is e-parachute down there at the bottom. And basically this is college majors and careers that match your interests, and of course it's free with your library card. You'll take a quick little survey, see what you like to do, and then it matches you up with colleges and majors and careers that might interest you. And once you have that, once you've decided, okay, well, I think I have a career idea, then now you want to select your schools. And in regards to selecting your schools, we have 3 different types that we're going to go over. And our first one is our dream schools. Now, these are our schools that we would absolutely love to go to if there was nothing in our way. We had the grades, and it's always I've wanted to be there. For me personally, it was UC Davis or Colorado State at Boulder, but that's okay because I ended up not going to my dream school, and that's okay too. But these are dream schools. You have a small chance of getting into them, but you would still like to apply. And I suggest no more than applying to 3 of these schools. Of course, it also depends. A lot of these schools do have application fees or don't have fee waivers, so that's why I only suggest applying to 3 of these. Then we have our match schools, and these are schools that already match your grades, your activities, your test scores, and you have a really good chance of getting into them. I say apply to as many of these as possible. Stuff that you'll go to, that you think you might like to live in that state, etc. Ask people, what they think of that school, if it's a good program for you. So I don't have a limit to match schools. The limit really comes down to how much money you want to spend on applying for college. And then our very last schools are our safety schools. And these are schools that are your last choices. You would still attend them if you got in, but they, again, are your last choices. And you exceed most of the criteria for these schools. I suggest applying to no more than 3. I always suggest you apply to at least 1 safety school, because if for some reason you don't get into any of the other colleges and you only get into your safety school and you really want to go to college, then you're able to get into your safety school. I always want to remind people that just because you don't get into the school that you want the first year, there is always transfer opportunities. So do not think that if I don't get in freshman year, I'll never go to that school. One of 2 things could happen. 1, the school that you're at, you could decide you love and wouldn't want to go anywhere else. Or 2nd, you can apply for a transfer and transfer in sophomore or junior year. There's 2 standardized tests that most schools opt for. I know with the COVID-19 pandemic, some colleges and universities did waive this requirement for incoming students, and so I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen going forward, so check with the college that you want to attend. Our first standardized test is the SAT. It's scored out of 1,600. There's a median composite score is 1083. It has a math and verbal section. Basically, that means if you get above a 1083, you're higher than average. You must pay for this on your own, and it's offered a couple times a year. The other one is the ACT, and the ACT is scored on a scale of 1 to 36, and the average ACT score for the class of 2019 is a 20.7. There are 4 sections on the ACT: English, math, reading, and science. And CCSD does allow every student to take this test for free. I recommend that since you have to take this test, you study for this test, and you do the best that you can, and you can submit the score for free to the colleges you would like to. Now, fee waivers. For fee waivers, your school counselor gets these. And basically, if you qualify for reduced free lunch, you can qualify for these, so talk to your counselor. Sometimes you have to hound your counselor. It takes forever for them to get back to you. Keep in mind, they may have 1,000 students that they have to deal with, and it may take them a little bit of time. However, if you are a homeschooler or you're in a non-traditional type school, there is a fee waiver that a different member can fill out for you. So please look into that. Each fee waiver will give you 2 times to take the test. Now, we have the test. How do we prep for this test, and how can the library help you? So we're back to my favorite brain fuse, and this is the brain fuse skill surfer. And as you can see right here on the slide, it does both the ACT and the SAT. And you can get live help with the questions. And in order to do that, you create an account to keep track of your progress. And let's say you're taking a mathematic practice test, then you go back and you are like, I had a really hard time on question number 12. Can you help me with question 12? On the back end, the tutor can see what question number 12 is and can help you out. So it does take a little bit of time to research into all the cool things that Brain Fuse does. So take your time, look through that, and get prepped for the test. Also, we have EBSCO Learning Express. That's another great resource that we have here at the library. It has numerous test prep material. You can see all of those college admission tests there as well. You sign in and you create an account. Of course, it's all free with your library card, and you can prep for all of these different tests and even your AP exams. Of course, you don't have access to a computer, or you don't like using a computer to do any test prep, we have our regular test prep books that you can check out. And they check out for 3 weeks. And you can request these from other branches to come to the branch that's nearest you. Again, it's all free with your library card. Keep in mind though that the brand new like 2019, 2020 test prep books, there's usually a waiting list for them. So you want to get yourself on that waiting list as soon as possible. Also, keep in mind that past test booklets, they will still work for you. A lot of times with doing these test preps, it's just getting an idea of what the test looks like so you're not overwhelmed on the day you take the test. All right, I often get asked the question on should I retake the test or not? For that, I have a couple of questions to ask you. The first question is what your score was when you first took the test. Is it a good score, but you think you can do better? But does it match any of the schools you would like to attend? Keep in mind, there's no definite answer to, hey, you have to have a 26 on the SAT to get into this school. You have to have this, and it guarantees you entry into this school. Does it match any of the schools that you would like to attend? Keeping in mind that universities and colleges normally look at the entire individual, not just the test score. Also, are you willing to do something different to prepare for the test this time? Are you willing to, spend a week or two getting to know the questions? Are you willing to spend time learning math, or learning a little bit more math, or working on math? Or verbal comprehension, reading comprehension, whatever it is that your score wasn't the best in, are you willing to do something different to try and improve your score? And these are answers that only you can decide in regards to should I retake the test. Now, of course, when we're getting ready for our college applications, we always want to look at our extracurricular activities. These are clubs at schools, volunteer organizations, faith-based organizations, sports, scouts, 4-H, things like that. Anything that happens after school. Also, though, if you're in high school, what else might you like to try? High school is an opportunity to see what types of things you might like. If you thought about a club at school that sounds interesting but aren't sure, maybe there's a club sport that you want to play at the park. You never know until you try. So don't bog down yourself with, oh, this has to be on my college application. Give yourself a chance to try out some different things. Also, what if I work? There's a lot of people that do work through high school, and that's fantastic. Work experience is an asset to your college application, especially if you have acceptable grades to go along with it. Your work experience can also make a really good part of your college essay. And if you work but don't get paid, think about if you have to babysit a younger sibling or care for an older family member, that counts as work, so make sure you do mention it. The next part of the college application process are our letters of recommendation. Seniors, if you're listening to this, if you still need letters of recommendation, you need to ask for them as soon as school gets back in session. Normally, you ask for them in your junior year, kind of at the end of the junior year, so that teachers can work on them over the summer and give them to you at the beginning so you can submit them with your applications in the fall for seniors. Most colleges require 2 to 3 letters of recommendation. Pick people that you think know you well, but will also give you a very good recommendation. Get your references in order. So pick teachers that you know will give an honest assessment of you. Ask the teacher though. Don't just assume they will. I had a teacher in high school that said at the very beginning of the year, they said they don't do letters of recommendation. And that was a very good thing to know. So make sure your teachers are willing to do this. Also, group leaders, anyone that can show how you work as a team player or are a leader. Think of this as any scout leaders, team coaches, things like that. And then faith-based leaders, someone that can show you as a well-rounded individual. Are you part of a Bible study group? Are you part of a youth group at church? Any of those type of leaders or adults in charge, they can also get a letter of reference, get your recommendation for you. Next part of the college application process is the college essay. And this is one of the most important parts of the application process. And take your time to figure it out. I cannot stress this enough. Make sure you follow the word count and the character count. I happen to be looking at Stanford University's college essay requirements. They require 4 essays, 1 essay, and then 3 question prompts that you have to answer. And the essay portion is between 500 and 550 words. And then the question prompts are 200 to 250 words. Make sure you keep track of those character counts and word counts. And these should never be done as an afterthought. Plan on spending at least, a day or two. And by a day or two, I mean at least 8 hours, if not more, on actually writing this essay. Tips for your essay. You need to showcase who you are. Lots of students are going to have the same grades. They're going to have the same activities. They're going to have the same awards even, especially if you're trying to get into competitive schools. This is an essay about you. Figure out what makes you special and put it in there. You want to make sure that the person reading your college essay knows a little bit about you. Why would this person make a good fit for this college or university? What does this person bring to this college or university that somebody else does not? You still need help with your essay. We're back to my favorite database, BrainFuse, and they have a writing lab. And you can submit your college essay to the writing lab, and within 24 hours, they'll send it back with corrections. Best thing about this is you can submit it until you are satisfied. Also, when you get it back the first time, make the corrections, read through it, have another person in your family read through it, family, friend, teacher, somebody, and then again, you can submit it until you think you are done and that you are satisfied. And of course, this is all free with your library card. Now, how exactly do you apply for these colleges? And one of the biggest things that has happened over the past couple of years is that there is now a website called commonapp.org. This website is free, and it allows you to create an account and apply to over 200 colleges using only one application. Basically, what that means is that you only have to type in your name, your address, your birthday, your parents' name, your school, etc., 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 only one time, and then it will fill out all these other applications for you. You will still have to pay the application fees for some schools. However, some do offer fee waivers. Again, if you qualify for the SAT fee waivers, usually you will qualify for the fee waivers for the school. Also, one thing great about commonapplication.org is that you can use the filters to narrow down schools. So let's say you're like, oh, I'm really tired of Nevada and the heat and I only want to go to East Coast schools. You can literally file it down to and narrow it down to just East Coast schools that use commonapp.org. One of the biggest things that parents ask is, how am I going to pay for college? And that's not surprising because college is expensive. So one of the first steps you want to do is take a look at the college website to see exactly what tuition fees and books might be. Right here in this picture, you see this is UNLV's tuition estimator. And it'll tell you exactly how much, and then you can submit and see. One of the biggest things that a lot of times people don't realize is that a lot of expensive schools, and notice that's in quotes, you hear about private schools, think of like Ivy League and stuff like that, like Harvard, Yale, Stanford, Pepperdine, those ones. Middle-class students, they don't expect you to pay large amounts for college if you're admitted. There are some schools now, if your parents make under $120,000, you're not expected to pay any tuition. So take a look at these schools. Don't be afraid to apply to dream schools or even schools that you think might be a little bit out of your budget, because you don't know what exact financial aid they will be. Depending on what your economic circumstances are, it doesn't hurt to apply to these schools. Just because you apply and even get accepted doesn't mean you have to attend them. So take a look at that. Now, also, of course, when you're paying for college, there's the financial aid aspect, and everybody fills out the FAFSA, and that's the Federal Application for Student Aid. And it's usually available in October, the year before you are going to college. So seniors, you'll be filling this out coming up. Juniors, freshmen, sophomores, juniors, you won't be filling this out right now, but again, it doesn't hurt to take a look at that. And parents have to fill this out with their tax information. So that's one of the most important parts, is that it's the tax information of your parents, and that's how you fill that out. Of course, there are scholarships and grants. Some schools may offer individual scholarships or financial aid based on merit. That's not based on financial need. That's based on you have good grades, etc. Or financial aid based on need, which is that you really need money to go to college. And then also you can look online. There's numerous scholarship websites out there. Some do cost money. There are absolutely free ones. One of the things about both commonapp.org and some of the scholarship websites, you don't want to start looking for them until August before you're going into your senior year. So like this year, if your senior year starts in August, that's when you would start. You're going to graduate in 21. So you want to start looking at it right now. You want to start looking at it in August. So now you've seen a few ways that the library can help you out with the road to college, and we are always open at lvccld.org. I hope you learned a little bit about how the library can help you out, and we'll talk to you next time.